Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day. So today we actually have some quite unexpected plans. Well, we did intend to have these plans, but we wanted to get our DN1 twin turbo finished in time. So we were supposed to go up to Prism Mike's project car meet. I was wanting to put this DN1 together since we coincidentally both have a black hood and I have a red bumper with a black lip. I thought it would have been funny to pull up with a copycat car, but we're not getting it done in time, as you guys have probably been able to tell from our past NATT video. He hit us up yesterday and he told us just to bring our red 2+2. I didn't want to originally because of just the cool factor of this car. I feel like I look at an NA kind of how other people do. I mean, I love an NA, it doesn't matter. If it's a Z, it's a Z. I'm in love. But everyone else will be like, oh, it's NA. You know, just like it's nothing special because it's non-turbo. So I was just trying to bring the cool factor, disregarding the project car aspect of it. Since that car is plenty of a project car daily, we may as well take it to the show. Not to mention, this is my first car show I'm actually attending. I've been to one Cars and Coffee before, and that was on my way back from Tail of the Dragon. It just happened. It was right outside of my hotel. So today we actually get to attend a meet, get to go see Mike, and check out some cool project cars. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm more nervous than anything. You can maybe see her up there. She's waiting on us. So we're gonna wash it up before we go, obviously. We're gonna put a couple of extra things on it to make it more presentable and maybe a little more desirable. And if you guys have been with the channel for any bit of time, you already know what #1 mod is gonna be. My blue carbon Ganadors. I know, these are my holy grail of anything that I own. Paid over 1,600 bucks for them, so I love these dudes. Not to mention, we're gonna find a throttle cover, and I think we're gonna rob a dress-up bolt kit off another car. So, now that you guys know what's going on, let's get to the video. Car started, probably the first time in like a week. I really haven't driven this thing at all. Kind of a sus that I'm about to drive it like a 400-mile trip, but whatever, we're gonna do it because Z32 power. I don't know if I can fit this. I feel like I could. Is it worth it? Probably not. I actually want to touch up my clutch system, at least the hydraulic system. Sometimes it acts funny, so let's put this thing up on some wood. So excited to get rid of these things, at least for the next 6 months. Let's just soak this in for a bit of a before picture. It doesn't really look bad now that I, think about it and look at it. Definitely just needs some cleaning up. Thankfully, we just went to Dollar General, scooped up some glass cleaner and stuff, so we're gonna really just deep clean and get all this out and get it spiffed up. I think before we start bleeding our clutch and getting everything cleaned up, we're actually going to change out kind of a dress-up bolt kit. Here on our number 3333 chassis, we actually got a couple of goodies in the bay. I actually have 3 other covers laid out over there that I was going to use. We might have to just do some magic here. Check it out. It's even got a hood, coil pack, some timing cover stuff that we can take. Got our cast bracket. Even these we could use. I just realized he even painted these coil brackets. These will definitely go nicely with everything else in there. So we went ahead and took a couple off. We can't get all of them off because of the rears. So let's just go ahead, swap out what we have, because we actually need to grab a couple different size sockets to take other stuff off. Here's the other 3 throttle covers that we were wanting to pick from. I like this one just because it's different. I know it looks like crud in between there. I painted this like 6 years ago and I just laid on purple paint, super thick and wet. And it came out hot candy pink. Decisions. I guess we'll go ahead and swap them all out and just get our dress-up bolt kit done because we still have a lot of work to do. Got a lot of the dress-up bolt kit all finished up. We haven't torqued down our balance tube, but we did switch this one over because it's actually wrinkle black and it looks really nice. We do need to zip tie this port. It's a little too loose for my liking. I think it's looking pretty good. If they were red, yeah, it'd stand out a little bit more, but I think the subtlety of it is what makes it look a little bit better. We still haven't wiped it all down, but we put the chrome ones on top We had a couple gray ones like this that we kept lower down. I think we may as well, since this doesn't look terrible, let's put the Tomei. I don't like how it's backwards, but at least it's straight. We actually have the same thing to do with our gritty down here. That's more like it. Now, before we go ahead and pick a throttle cover, which I'm on the fence over here with these two, this one, I think it'd look good just for the fact of it being red. Looks good, but it's a different red. I know I'm not exactly the matching red guy here. Even though this has some runs and just crud in the paint, there's just something about this that I just really like. Yeah, I don't know. We may have to run with this one. It'll depend how well we can clean up in between them letters, really. Now, we actually got a bunch of free stuff. Like 4 years ago, we drove like 250 miles away to just load up my truck. And one of the cool things that came there, I think we're actually going to put to use today, is we've got a chromed idle air control hard tube. I think this will just really help bring this area out a little bit more, considering it's lacking a little bit. And not only that, this bracket's actually cut for clearance and it doesn't look correct. Let's put this bad boy on. Now that's installed. Kind of looks all right. So I think we're actually going to go with this just for a kind of a different piece or aspect to the car, you know? I guess now we can go ahead, check the White Z over, look for any assorted bits or pieces that we may have missed. Well, let's get everything cleaned up and all of our parts, you know, out of the bay. Let's attend to the clutch. Let's just pull a little bit more fluid through it, freshen it up a little bit, and then we can start deep cleaning. The Z is nothing special. It's not fast, fun to drive, making good progress at least I think so. It looks a little bit better. So I may have just mistakenly put something on and didn't realize. We're actually going to run our still and nose panel. I think the contrast of the black to the lip, to the skirts, to the spats, then to the Ganadors kind of helps bring it together a little bit, makes it look uniform. I don't know, there's some kind of scheme going on. And I think we're going to keep our clear corner lights. So we've got 2.5 hours before we leave, and we've got a lot of work to do still. Something I did think of for my slick top that I think would be pretty beneficial over here is we can take this off and put this on. It's just a cover for it. I think it might be an AMS one for all I know. I was on the fence of changing my filter for the painted red one, but that's literally just too much for me to want to work with right now. I'm kind of on the fence if we should leave early, get there early and spend like the first 20 minutes just wiping the car down and trying to clean it up. Just the engine bay, that is, kind of struggling for time right now. Well, I'm definitely pretty forgetful. I forgot we already bled the clutch on this thing. I should say we already redid and replaced the fluid. Yeah, it still looks pretty gross. So we're going to move on to the next step, and that is install our Ganadors. One of them is super dirty and I'm kind of bummed. Got a little scratch on it right there. That's my fault. First step, let's roll our window down so we can get access to this little B-pillar up here. Pop the cover off, and you got a screw up here in the top. I think it's supposed to be like an 8mm bolt, kind of the same screw bolt that holds the bottom of your pods in. Oh, we dropped the bolt. I was like, what was that? Pretty sure all we got are these two left. Always forget about these. Usually other people just break them off. Gooey. Just disconnect it, and then we should be able to snake this through. Yeah, I think that's what we did last time. Okay. Nice. Mirror removed. And now for my favorite part of this entire weekend, Ganador time. So these don't actually fit the same, but they are very close. It doesn't go all the way up and kind of tuck under this like the OEMs do. Yeah, I'm not even in the right place either. They got to drop down a little bit. Before you snug it down, make sure you got it about where you want it. And you just tighten up and should be able to keep that relative position. Yeah, it's been too long. Another thing I'm not exactly a fan of is the gap here. When I go to repaint, I will do something about this. Maybe get like a different little gasket that pokes out a little bit. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas or maybe what you've done, drop it in the comments below. Guess we can put the panel back on now. My first priority putting the panel back on is always just to drop that lower portion in the right spot for the seat belt, that is. And then I'll screen this guy through. Just helps you get everything lined up if you're already kind of in the right rough area. I think we're all good now. I'll just go ahead and plug this all the rest of the way back in. Got it all hooked back up. Everything is officially bolted down and secured. I think we're ready to do the other side. Now there's no reason in me showing something twice. So let's hit it with the before and after. New Ganny's on. Now what? I think we may focus on the interior before we take it up and wash it. But first, let's go take our dogs out because we're already like a half hour behind. Sorry, dogs. I'll be the first to admit, we've got an hour. We still haven't washed this car. I'm a little stressed out. Let's do like a turbo sleep on this thing. Just get it kind of looking good again. It don't have to be perfect. All done. Now to wash the outside. Just checked the clock and it appears we have about 50 minutes to get out of here. First time in a long time today, I'm actually going to wash the inside of my windshield. Spicy. I'm not going to lie, now I'm just being ridiculous. Got the whole thing washed and hitting it with a microfiber towel to get rid of any of those water spots that we can. This close and we're headed to Chicago. For the finishing touch here, let's shine up our Ganny's. Car is all done. As done as it's gonna get. I guess we'll go touch up the wheels a little bit just to get the little residual off to make sure that the standing water on the bottom doesn't collect all the dirt. She's all cleaned up. I really like how the exhaust shines up, to be honest. Yeah, it's not the best. We need to repolish it for sure, but we're looking good. Almost looks like a new car. Now let's go back down to the barn. Let's grab the last whatever we may need, fluids, this and that, just to top us up on the way and make sure that for whatever reason, if we have a leak or mishap, we'll be able to take care of ourselves. Well, you guys, it's that time. Let's head on out. Let's head over to Chicago. First and foremost, we actually need to go grab some fuel. Let's head to the one stop. Stay as clean as possible. Then we'll wash our windshield before we fully take off. Can't really tell, but it definitely needs it. I just had a freak of an accident. Whenever, like, it would get stuck at 3,000 RPMs. Since we did just mess with stuff, we actually need to check our throttle bodies to make sure nothing is getting binded up. Goes our 4.5 hour trip. It's gonna be 4.5 hours because we, gotta stop and grab some food somewhere. Until then, well, we've been driving for probably an hour now, well, a little over an hour. We just hit 60 miles on our trip. I had to stop for a little buffalo chicken nugget action. And now we're ready to resume our trek for the next 3 hours. So far, I must admit, the weather's been beautiful. Got this little bit of rain chance it's looking like over here. All I gotta say is it better stay away. I didn't just wash my car for an hour for nothing, man. I'll be very upset. Bummed, to say the least, but not upset. get that windshield clean enough for sure. I have to say I'm at the right spot. We've officially made it to the meet with front row seats, and I just noticed these wheels, these Volts, have like almost like a rear face. I've never seen something like that before. These are sick. Not to mention what it's on. This is actually the first coupe. Yeah, this is the first coupe that I think I've ever seen. 240s in my area are just completely wiped. Let's go around and check out a few things and just see what's here. This is actually the third S14 I've ever seen, and it's a Koki at that. It's pretty neat. I always like seeing things that you really don't get to see. Oh, hey, there is another Z here, but it's a 370 though. I spoke too soon. There's actually another S14. I love them with all these big fat BN style kits on them. It just makes them that much lower looking without actually having to scrape. It almost looks purple on camera with the sun glare. It's actually a baby blue. Should we find a set of these for RZ? Drop it in the comments below. I'm curious because I've always thought that these things look pretty good. Not the brakes, the wheels. Oh, it's even got red guts. That makes it that much better. Reminds me of my slick top. Oh, that's rad. Straight dump. So I'm walking up to this thing and I start thinking, are those Z32 brakes on a Subaru? Is that like an actual thing? It's news to me. Unless maybe their calipers are really close. Nope. I don't know. Huh? It does look a little different. So you remember how we got all those mirrors for free? I think I just found out what they're from. I've got a blue set of these at home. Literally the exact same. So now we may know what they're for. Looks like we did get good placement right here. Can't remember how long it's been since I messed it up. Can't remember how long it's been since I was here, but there's quite a turnout going on here. You guys just caught it on camera. First douchebag of the night. Leave it to the American Muscle. But we have found us two. Oh my goodness. This thing is sick. Wow, this thing is freaking wide. Gee whiz. Yeah, it's got the whole setup. Like, what? You got all the airflow in the world. So other than me, Mike, and Peyton, so far I have found two other Z32s. Hopefully this is one of you guys watching, and if it is, please drop it in the comments below because I absolutely love the silver. I had one of these silver Zs probably 4 years ago. I sold it because I drove it for 2 years, 40,000 miles, and I lost $200 selling it. Seemed like a no-brainer at the time, but I've really kicked myself ever since I sold it. Now let's go see if we can find another Z32. Oh, this is really sick looking. This actually reminds me of a truck my dad did. Did this textured bit to it. Well, you can see it almost looks like marble. Got us yet another S14. But we actually got us our last Z32 over here, and I've never seen this valence before. Do you guys know what this is? We really do need to get us some J-Spec tails. Those things look so clean. Homemade sideshow going on. Hey, that's not your car. So this car is actually from Too Fast, or the Fast and Furious 2, or Too Fast, Too Furious. I'll find the timestamp and I'll drop it in below where you can find it. But this thing's sick. It's actually got an MR2 motor in it. I really like the paint job. It's 2 tons slick. under a tree for 3 years. It's crazy. It seems like all the cornballs are out here revving. Gotta be damage control. But we're actually gonna throw the GoPro in the car now. We're gonna be done recording.
And he did that.
We did that. There's no reason that I cannot show Peyton's gorgeous 2+2 Z32. This thing is insane. Literally this is my favorite example of an Aztec Red Z32. They're gorgeous. Especially with J-Spec tails.
You know each other from a video?
Dude, hold on, how hard was it to do that?
It was pretty easy.
It was? That's sick. I've never seen one of them in a Z. I might have to, oh dude.
Yeah, no.
So is that what people put in the dash usually, or?
Yeah. Yeah, people usually delete.
So does
that.
none of that work
I like
in the dash?
No, the dash all fully works. I just don't like. I like the dash.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I like the old style.
And then adding
You know what I'm saying?
Man, even these,
And this
can't
just-
even see the seats, but they're sick. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Now, we'll be back when it's time to leave. It's officially. Well, we're gonna be getting home at about 3 a.m. Let's start the trip. The dude himself hooked us up with some merch. Now, let's make our way back home. We're actually taking the interstate because my clutch decided it wants to start acting up as soon as we go to leave. So I'm trying to just get in the hang out in 5th gear lane, more or less. Oh, let's head out of here. Oh, Lord. Let's fill up, head back home. I had a blast. I'm gonna have to say our first car show was a success. This is another cruise. Home at 3:30 a.m. Yikes. But we're here for it, and we do it again. It's 3:29, and we're officially about to pull back up to the house. It's the next morning, and if you can't tell, it's almost time to start getting this convertible finished up. Yesterday was super cool. I'm sorry, I was very nervous, like very, very nervous and very, very anxious. I had no one with me. Over 200 miles away from home. I was a little uneasy, but for my first experience, I think it went pretty well, and I'm ready to go back. One of the coolest parts was I actually got to meet a couple of you guys and put a face to the name, which I always love to do. And thank you guys again for coming up and saying hey. Before we wrap this video up, let's show you guys kind of what was going on with our clutch since it's the next morning. Yesterday when we were going to address our clutch, and I was like, oh wait, never mind, we already did it. No, this is a problem I have. I have so many cars, I can't distinguish what I've done to what another. So paperwork is gonna be a new thing. Last night when we went to leave, this is how much play your clutch should have. Look how much it has. Yeah, it's not good. Definitely some air or something getting in the system. So we're gonna have to bleed this out a little bit and bring it back to its normal function. I'm a little upset I did not get to deep clean my bay yesterday because I didn't even get to show any of this off. You already know Mike like that, him and his chrome. We'll be ready for the next one. We'll get this dress up kit the rest of the way sorted out. We'll actually clean this bay. Who knows, maybe we'll pull the motor soon. It might be time to really just jump on the slick top. But it was a good show, to say the least. Now it's time. Let's finish up this vert. Just got the vert all pulled up. It's ready to go under the knife. We're ready to get this finished up. Next video, I have every intention of getting this thing completely done and ready to send off to Eric. I'm ready to take that to some car shows. That's way cooler than my 4-seater, especially when we get it fixed and swapped. Before I started YouTubing, I was even more awkward, anxious, and nervous all the time. So putting myself out there is the best thing that I can do, you know, to help the situation to get better and not be so nervous and anxious all the time. Especially coming from a town where, you know, there's 2,000 people at most, to somewhere like Chicago where there's like It's literally the third most populated city in the world. Like, not the world, but the US. Sorry. Big difference. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. It's only up from here. And until next time, if you guys liked the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below. And stay tuned for more content. We will catch you guys then. Peace.